Joints are made up of bony partners, and they can be two bony partners or even more than two bony partners. And when we talk about knee joints, so it is very important to understand that what are the different type of bones which actually make up the knee joint. So majorly the two most major components in the knee joint are the femur and the tibia. Other than that, patella is also important when it comes to knee joint because it makes the patellofemoral joint in the region of the knee. Moreover, even though fibula is not actively participating in making up the joint, but we are also going to take a look at the fibula as well. So the bones and landmarks of the knee joint. So the knee joint is actually composed of the distal femur articulating with the proximal tibia, and this makes up the tibiofemoral joint, and this tibiofemoral joint is actually known as the knee joint, and it is one of the largest joints in the body. There's another joint in this area which is known as patellofemoral joint, and it is made between the patella, which is the sesamoid bone, and the distal aspect of the femur. So if we talk about the knee complex, so there are majorly two joints which make up the knee complex. There is the tibiofemoral joint and the patellofemoral joint. But when we say knee joint, we are actually or usually referring to the tibiofemoral joint in general. So the first bony partner, specifically when we talk about the tibiofemoral joint, is the femur, which is the proximal bony partner, and the tibia is the distal bony partner. So the femur or the distal part of the femur makes the proximal part of the knee joint. So let's take a look at the bony landmarks of the femur which are present in or around the knee joint. So first of all, we have the medial condyle. It is the distal most part of the femur on the medial aspect. So as you can see here, so this is the anterior aspect, and we have, this is here our medial epicondyle, and beneath this is the distal most part on the medial aspect, and this is known as medial condyle, and this distal most part on the lateral side is known as the lateral condyle. Just above the medial condyle and the lateral condyle, we have the medial epicondyle medially and the lateral epicondyle laterally. We can also look at these structures on the posterior aspect of the distal segment of the femur. So here we can see this is the medial condyle, this here is the lateral condyle, and just above the lateral condyle here is the lateral epicondyle. Similarly here once again we have the medial epicondyle. So just above the medial epicondyle we have another structure which is known as adductor tubercle. So this adductor tubercle gets its name from the adductor magnus because a part of the adductor magnus attaches at this side. So this adductor tubercle is given its name because of adductor magnus as well. Moreover, it is very easy to remember where adductor tubercle is if we just remember the medial condyle, and above the medial condyle is the medial epicondyle, and just above the medial epicondyle is the adductor tubercle on the distal most part of the femur. So adductor tubercle is a small projection proximal to medial epicondyle, and as I already mentioned, a portion of the adductor magnus muscle attaches to the adductor tubercle, and that's why it is given this name. Moreover, if we look at the posterior aspect of the femur, we can see this ridge or line here, or we can also call it as a crest. So this crest or ridge on the posterior aspect of the femur is known as linea aspera, and it is a permanent longitudinal ridge running most of the posterior length, as I already mentioned. Moving on, we also have another surface which is known as the patellar surface, because as I already mentioned that in the knee region, we have a tibiofemoral joint as well as a patellofemoral joint, and the patellofemoral joint is made or is formed between the patella and the anterior and distal aspect of the femur. So this area here, as you can see, now this here is the lateral condyle and lateral epicondyle, and here we have the medial condyle and medial epicondyle, and this area here you can see this is known as the patellar surface. This is where the posterior aspect of the patella articulates with the distal aspect of the femur or the patellar surface of the femur and makes a patellofemoral joint, and the patella moves up and down on the femur with the movement of the knee joint. Especially when we do flexion, it moves downward, and when we do extension, it moves upward. So patellar surface is located between the medial and lateral condyles, but it is only present anteriorly. It articulates with the posterior surface of the patella to make the patellofemoral joint, as I already mentioned. And moving on after the femur in the tibiofemoral joint, the distal articulating partner or the distal bonding partner is the tibia. So the proximal part of the tibia is the bony landmark which makes up the knee joint, and it articulates with the distal aspect of the femur. So first of all, we have a plateau. Now this complete region is known as plateau, which consists of structures like lateral condyle, medial condyle, intercondyle eminence, and tubal tuberosity, and this is the area that we are actually concerned with and interested in when we talk about the bony landmarks of the knee joint or the tibiofemoral joint. So plateau is an enlarged proximal end including medial and lateral condyles and intercondylar eminence. So moving on, we also have the medial condyle, which is just like the medial condyle of the femur. We have the medial condyle of the tibia located on the proximal medial aspect, and we have the lateral condyle on the proximal lateral aspect of the tibia. Moving on, we also have a tubal tuberosity. This is the structure here. This is a tubal tuberosity, and this is where the patellar tendon, which attaches the patellar inferior aspect of the patella with the tubal tuberosity, so that attaches on the tubal tuberosity. So it is actually a large projection at the proximal end and on the anterior surface in the midline of the tibia. There's another structure which is known as intercondylar eminence. So this is the tibial plateau, and at the center of the tibial plateau there is an eminence which is known as intercondylar eminence, which means between the two condyles, namely the lateral and medial condyle of the tibia. So it is a double pointed prominence at about the midpoint on the tibial plateau. It extends up into the intercondylar fossa of the femur. Now, as I already mentioned previously, that fibula is actually not participating in the knee joint, but it is important to mention here because it is located in the region as well. So it is lateral to and smaller than the tibia proximally, but when we talk about the distal aspect, then the fibula is much larger than the tibia, and it is the major portion which is in the lower leg. It is actually participating in the formation of the ankle joint. So it may not be of significance in the knee joint, but it is of great significance at the ankle joint. So it is set back, which means it is located a little bit posteriorly from the surface, anterior surface of the tibia, which allows a large space for the attachment of different muscles. This gives the lower leg its rounded circumference and morphology. Moreover, as I already mentioned, fibula is not a part of the knee joint because it does not articulate with the femur. As you can see, here is the femur, and the fibula is not reaching as high as the tibia to articulate with the femur. So it provides a point of attachment for some knee structures, but it does not participate in the formation of the joint itself. However, as I already mentioned, it has a larger role at the ankle because it is the major proximal bony partner of the ankle or the pterocrural joint. The last and another very important bone which participates in the knee region is the patella, which makes the patellofemoral joint with the femur. So a triangular shaped sesamoid bone which is present within the quadriceps muscle tendon is known as the patella. It has a broad superior border, as you can see here, and a comparatively pointed distal portion, as you can see here. Now this here is the anterior surface and this is the posterior surface. The posterior surface of the patella actually articulates with the anterior aspect of the femur to make the patellofemoral joint, and it glides upward and downward on the femur, thus forming the patellofemoral joint. There's another bone which is known as the calcaneus, so it does not take part in the formation of the knee joint in any way, but it is important because one of the two joint muscles which act at the knee is the gastrocnemius, and it serves as an attachment site for the gastrocnemius. It is the most posterior of the tarsal bones, and it is also commonly known as heel. So it is identified here because it provides attachment for the gastrocnemius muscle, which acts as a secondary knee flexor. That's all about this part of the lecture in which we talked about the bony landmarks of the knee joint. So stay tuned to sqadia.com for more lectures like this. Thank you very much.